Let's stop pretending. Let's stop sugarcoating this existence with self-help platitudes and shallow affirmations. You weren't born into this world to float. You were born to burn, to break, to be broken, and then rise. Not as who you were, but as something the world has never seen before. Pain. That word alone makes people recoil. But for warriors like us, for those who march under the shadow of the GrimFace flag, pain is not a punishment. It's an invitation. An invitation to become the rarest breed of human, the kind forged by betrayal, molded by abandonment, refined by inner agony. You see, most people run from pain. They sedate it, they numb it, they drown it in dopamine, distractions, and digital lies. But you were chosen to face it. Understand the furnace you're in. Every hardship, every sleepless night, every why me moment is part of the furnace that's been heating your steel. And make no mistake, you are being forged. Because you weren't meant to stay who you are. You're not meant to be comfortable. You're meant to be sharpened like a blade, measured not by how pretty you look on the outside, but by how cleanly you cut through the chaos of life. The world doesn't need more polished masks. It needs men and women who have scars they're not ashamed of. Scars that scream, I bled for this strength. I didn't read it in a book. I carved it out of suffering. So I ask you now, what furnace are you in? What grief is grinding your soul down? What pain keeps you up at night and makes your chest tighten when you think of your future? That's not weakness. That's the raw material. But raw material is nothing without will. The alchemy of pain. Let me give you a truth few can handle. Pain by itself is just noise, a scream in the night, a weight on your back. But when you use it, when you channel it with ruthless clarity, that's when it becomes alchemy. The ancients spoke of turning base metals into gold. That's exactly what you must do with your inner torment. Take that betrayal and use it to build unshakable boundaries. Take that rejection and make it a ritual of resilience. Take that anxiety and convert it into aggressive momentum. Your pain can become your power, but only if you stop seeing it as something done to you and start seeing it as something meant for you. Stop worshiping comfort. Comfort is a liar. It whispers in your ear, you've suffered enough. Just relax. You've earned a break. But that voice is not your ally. It is your executioner. Because every time you kneel to comfort, you abandon your calling. Pain is not the enemy. Comfort is. Comfort will wrap you in chains that look like rest. It will seduce you with mediocrity. And when your edge is gone, when your ambition has dulled, you will look in the mirror and not recognize the ghost staring back. So choose the sharp path, the rugged terrain, the path where you face your fears, not fantasize your escape. Study your wounds. They hold the blueprint. Every scar you carry has a lesson carved into it. Every memory that haunts you holds a secret. If you are willing to listen, your pain will whisper what you need to hear. But you must stop running. Sit with your suffering. Talk to it. Write it. Record it. Look it dead in the eyes and say, what were you here to teach me? Because underneath the pain is purpose. And if you don't mind it, someone else will use your wound to control you, to silence you, to chain you. So reclaim your pain. Strip it of its mystery, and wield it like a blade only you know how to use. Build rituals of power. Here's the part most people miss. You can't just feel powerful. You must ritualize your transformation. Wake up early, not to join the productivity cult, but to remind yourself you are not a slave to the pillow. Train your body, not for aesthetics, but to teach your mind that pain is practice. Fast, meditate, fight, reflect, not because it's trendy, but because you are sculpting a life that demands power to sustain it. Power is not a moment. It is a rhythm, a ritual, a relentless series of micro decisions to face the heat when others run for shade. So ask yourself, what daily pain can you embrace to build your resilience? What hard conversations are you avoiding that could set you free? What fear are you feeding instead of hunting down? Power comes when you pursue discomfort with surgical precision. Your identity must die, so a new one can rise. If you truly want to turn pain into power, you must bury the version of yourself that clings to the story of the victim. That identity, the one that says, "Why me?" has to be burned at the altar of evolution, because the person you're destined to become has no space for excuses. They will not carry your doubts. They will not carry your justifications. They only carry a sword forged from every time you could have quit, but didn't. So let it die. Mourn it if you must, but never go back to it. Because you cannot rise while holding hands with who you used to be. Burn so bright. They feel the heat. When you enter the room, you've seen people who walk in and the atmosphere shifts. Not because they're loud, not because they're flashy, but because they have walked through hell and returned holding fire. That is who you are becoming. The GrimFace warrior isn't loud. They are lethal. They don't boast. They become. And when they show up, you feel it. Because their pain has been turned into presence. Their struggle has been turned into strength. Their silence has been turned into seismic purpose. Step 1. Accept the furnace. Face the pain without flinching. There's a truth so raw, so uncomfortable, that most people spend their entire lives running from it. Pain is the price of becoming. We were raised in a world that taught us to avoid pain. Distract yourself. Stay positive. Focus on what makes you feel good. But that conditioning didn't make us strong. It made us soft, reactive, fragile. You want to become dangerous? Then stop fearing the furnace. Because the furnace doesn't care if you feel ready. It doesn't ask for your permission. It doesn't knock on your door gently. It breaks it down. The furnace is betrayal. The furnace is loss. The furnace is every silent night you spent wondering if you even mattered anymore. And here's the truth most won't tell you. That furnace was not sent to destroy you. It was sent to burn away everything that isn't real. Everything false. Every illusion. Every borrowed belief that told you you're not good enough. You'll never rise. You were born to suffer and survive. No. You were born to suffer and overcome. You were born to feel the pain and turn it into armor. But that transformation can't begin until you stop running. Most people never reach this point. They medicate, they binge, they distract, they lash out at others because they're too afraid to face themselves. They never stop to ask, why does this hurt so badly? And what is this pain trying to awaken in me? They think the pain means something is wrong with them. But the real truth? Pain is proof you're being called. Not to stay the same, but to burn away the weakness. The pain you're running from is the fire that will forge you. There is no alternate route, no shortcut, no detour. Every great warrior, every legend, every unshakable human you admire walked through their personal furnace. And not just once, again and again and again, until they learned to stop flinching, until the fire no longer scared them, until they realized the fire was making them indestructible. This is where most people quit. This is where people say, "I'm not strong enough. I don't want to feel this anymore. This is too much." But what they don't realize is that it's not the pain that's too much. It's their resistance to it. When you resist pain, it owns you. When you face it, you command it. You become the one who looks the storm in the eye and says, "I've been expecting you." You don't run. You don't hide. You step forward. This is the turning point. Right here. This step. This moment. This is where the war begins. It's not a war with other people. Not a war with the world. It's a war with the version of yourself who kneels to suffering, who flinches at every blow, who begs for someone to come and make it easier. That version of you, it must die in the furnace. Because what rises from those ashes is not a victim, not a shell, not a puppet. What rises is a warrior, a weapon, a leader, a soul that has stopped fearing the pain and started using it like fuel. Action steps for step 1. 1. Revisit the deepest pain without numbing. Find a quiet space. No distractions. No phone. Bring to mind the one moment in your life that broke you. Now stay there. Don't run from it. Feel every ounce of it. Let the tears come. Let the fire burn. And ask one question. What part of me died here? And what part of me is trying to be born? 2. Rename the furnace. Stop calling it my trauma or my darkness. Start calling it what it really is. My refinement. Label your worst experience as the start of your becoming. Write it down. Frame it. Own it. 3. Commit to the fire. Every day, seek one moment of discomfort on purpose. This is your new training ground. Wake up early when you don't want to. Confront someone respectfully when you're scared. Train your body when your mind is weak. These are not just tasks. They're sparring matches with the furnace. You either step in willingly, or life will drag you in unprepared. Final reminder for step 1. This step is not about healing. It's not about coping. It's not about soothing. It's about becoming. And becoming starts when you stop flinching at the fire and start stepping into it with your eyes open. Because only then will you realize you were never meant to be safe. You were meant to be forged. Step 2. Alchemize the pain. Extract the power hidden within. You've stood in the fire. You didn't flinch. You bled. You cracked. You endured. Now it's time to do something far more dangerous than simply surviving. It's time to transmute the agony into fuel. To take the very thing that was meant to break you and turn it into the reason you rise with unstoppable force. This is the alchemy of warriors. The sacred art of converting emotional suffering into mental strength. Of converting shame into sharpened focus. Of converting grief into godlike clarity. But understand this. Pain does not automatically make you stronger. That is a lie. Pain only makes you powerful if you know how to extract its essence. If you know how to harness the fire, not be consumed by it. Most don't. They wear their pain like a badge of honor, but never learn how to wield it. They talk about what happened to them, but never move past it. They let pain become their identity instead of using it to carve a new one. Not you, not anymore. You are here to alchemize it. What is alchemy? In the ancient world, alchemy was the process of turning base metals, like lead, into gold. But the real alchemists weren't just concerned with metal. They knew the truth. The most powerful alchemy happens within the soul. You are the base material. Your trauma is the fire, and your choice is the crucible. It is in this crucible that your weakness is burned away, and your real self emerges. Stronger, sharper, scarred, but sovereign. This isn't spiritual theory. This is psychological warfare. You've seen it before. Those who walk into the room and you feel their gravity. You can see it in their eyes. They've been through hell. But they didn't just walk out. They came back carrying the fire with them. You will be that person. Every emotion is energy. Use it. Your pain holds energy. That's why it doesn't go away. Energy cannot be destroyed, but it can be redirected. The goal is not to get over what hurt you. The goal is to reassign its power. Let's break it down. Rejection becomes ruthless self-respect. Abandonment becomes absolute self-reliance. Failure becomes hunger for mastery. Humiliation becomes spiritual humility and iron focus. Loss becomes detachment and lethal clarity. You're not healing. You're reforging. You're not letting go. You're recasting the weight into a weapon. Every pain has a lesson. Extract it or repeat it. Here's what separates the strong from the forgotten. Those who do not extract the lesson from their pain are doomed to recreate the pain again and again. The relationships may change. The environment may change. But the cycles repeat. Why? Because pain, like a spiritual teacher, keeps knocking until you answer. So, answer. Look your most painful memory in the eye and ask it, what were you trying to teach me that I refused to learn? If you were betrayed, maybe you needed to learn how to stop trusting blindly. If you were abandoned, maybe you needed to stop outsourcing your sense of worth. If you lost it all, maybe you needed to become someone who can never be robbed again. Pain is precise. It shows you exactly what to change, but only if you're willing to dissect it. Transmutation requires death of the old meaning. Before you can extract power from pain, you must first kill the old meaning you've attached to it. You are not damaged. You are not a victim. You are not just unlucky. Those labels are lies the weak tell themselves to justify staying the same. And you are no longer one of them. You are not cursed. You are called. You are not broken. You are in process. You are not powerless. You are charged with potential. But potential means nothing without transmutation. Psychological alchemy in practice. This isn't just theory. Here's how to do it daily. 1. Write the pain story as it is. Describe the pain exactly how you remember it. No filters, no edits, no politeness, just raw truth. Bleed onto the page. 2. Find the power hidden inside it. Now ask, what did this pain give me that I couldn't have earned any other way? Find it, even if it's ugly, especially if it's ugly. Was it awareness, boundaries, emotional strength, ruthlessness? Name it. Claim it. 3. Reframe the entire story. Now rewrite the story from the perspective of your higher self. I was betrayed, so I could awaken. I was abandoned, so I could learn to never abandon myself again. I failed, so I could learn where the real war is. Repeat this new version of the story every morning, because repetition is what etches power into your subconscious. Bonus ritual: pain conversion sessions. Once per week, choose one past pain. Light a candle. Play no music. Sit in complete silence. Close your eyes. Visualize the moment. Re-feel it. Then speak this out loud. I do not fear you. I mine you for strength. I reclaim the power that was buried in you. I turn this into my fire, my fuel, my focus. You were not the end of me. You were the beginning. This is how you break the spell of suffering, not by forgetting it, but by forging something new from its ashes. Final reminder for step 2. You are not here to survive your pain. You are here to convert it, to turn every scar into scripture, to turn every breakdown into strategy, to turn every tear into the spark that lights a battlefield on fire. You are not soft. You are not fragile. You are the alchemist of your agony. And now, the world better be ready for the gold that comes from your fire. Step 3. Reject comfort. Build rituals that sharpen you. You face the furnace. You've begun the sacred art of alchemizing your pain. But now, you're faced with a different kind of threat. One far more seductive than pain. One that kills not with violence, but with softness. Comfort. The trap of comfort. Comfort is the new prison. But unlike bars and chains, it doesn't announce itself. It disguises itself as self-care, as peace, as normal. It whispers lies like, "You've done enough. You deserve rest. Just one more scroll, one more bite, one more day off the grind." These aren't thoughts. They're weapons, designed to dull your edge, to rock you to sleep in the middle of a battlefield, to pacify the inner warrior before he ever unsheathes his blade. Comfort does not want you to be strong. It wants you dependent, tamed, distracted, predictable, and it is winning. Because most people don't even know they're under attack. Why? Comfort is the enemy of power. Power is born in pain, but it is sustained in discipline. And discipline cannot survive in comfort. It dies there, quietly, day by day, routine by routine. You cannot build resilience in temperature-controlled safety. You cannot forge strength in the absence of resistance. You cannot become unstoppable when you keep retreating into softness. Comfort is not your friend. It is your executioner in disguise. The true purpose of discomfort. Discomfort isn't punishment. It's permission. Permission to become who you were always meant to be. It is the proving ground. It is the whetstone. It is the crucible in which average men are broken and warriors are born. When you choose discomfort deliberately, you begin to reclaim control over your mind and body. You become sovereign. You become sharp. You become immune to the temptations that enslave the weak. This is not about being tough for show. It's about becoming indestructible beneath the surface. Build rituals that strip away weakness. The most powerful people you know are not born. They are ritualized. Their habits sharpen them. Their routines harden them. Their daily choices separate them from the masses. Your power lies in what you choose to do when no one is watching. When the pressure isn't on. When the comfort is calling. This is when you either decay or evolve. The 3 realms of ritual. Build your rituals across these 3 battlegrounds. 1. Physical rituals. Your body is the gatekeeper of your will. Cold showers every morning. Not for refreshment, for command. Daily training. Not for image, for identity. Fasting. Not to lose weight. To regain discipline over your hunger. Each act teaches you that the body obeys the mind, but only when the mind stops making excuses. 2. Mental rituals. The battlefield of the mind is cluttered with noise. Daily silence. At least 10 minutes. No input. No escape. Just awareness. No phone in the first and last hour of the day. You are not a slave to dopamine. Read 1 hard truth a day. Digest it. Sit with it. Let it scar you into wisdom. Your thoughts are not random. They are either trained or manipulated. You choose which. 3. Emotional rituals. Emotions are not weaknesses. They are weapons when tamed, and liabilities when unchecked. Speak a truth that makes you sweat daily. Have the hard conversation. Don't postpone. Don't rehearse. Do it. Journal one painful memory. Write it without censorship. Transform it through confrontation. These rituals keep you in control of the inner terrain. Without emotional rituals, the past will bleed into your present and destroy your future. The death of negotiation. Rituals only work when they are non-negotiable. You don't ask yourself, do I feel like it? You don't say, maybe later. You say, this is what I do, every day, without question. The moment you negotiate with weakness, weakness becomes your master. No, not anymore. You've come too far for that. Create your code of discipline. Write it. Etch it in stone. Live by it. Here's an example of a foundational ritual code. Wake before the sun. Cold exposure immediately. Train the body before sunrise. No social media until after work. 1 hour in total silence. One painful truth spoken aloud. This is not a checklist. It is a declaration. A war cry against modern decay. Discomfort is your new compass. If it's difficult, it's worth doing. If it scares you, lean toward it. If it challenges your ego, let it shatter you. If it strips you of comfort, let it carve clarity. Discomfort shows you where your edge is and where you still need to bleed. This is how you escape the fate of average men. This is how you separate yourself in a world drowning in softness. You stop running from pain. You stop chasing comfort. And you build rituals that force your evolution. Final reminder for step 3. You do not become powerful by accident. You become powerful by ritualizing resistance. The world will offer you comfort. The algorithm will offer you distractions. Your weaker self will offer you excuses. Reject them all. Let every day be a reminder. This is war. Every ritual is a strike. Every choice is a battle. And your discipline is the weapon they never see coming. Step 4. Kill the victim identity. Rebirth your warrior self. You've faced the furnace. You've learned to extract power from pain. You've built rituals that harden your edge. Now comes the most violent part of this process. Not externally, but internally. You must commit spiritual murder. You must kill the part of yourself that has been holding you back. The version of you built by trauma, by fear, by failure, by rejection, by limitation. You must kill the victim identity. Because as long as that version of you still draws breath, you will always carry the echo of weakness. And that echo will whisper, you can't. You're not enough. It's their fault. You were never meant to win. No, that voice does not belong to the warrior you're becoming. It belongs to the corpse of your former self. And now it's time to bury it. For good. The victim identity is addictive. Don't underestimate it. It's not just a thought pattern. It's a drug. And like any drug, it provides short-term comfort with long-term decay. The victim gets a hit of sympathy. They get to offload responsibility. They get to say, I'm this way because of what happened to me. And the world will reward them for it. They'll get the likes. They'll get the validation. They'll get the echo chamber that says, you're right. You deserve to be angry forever. But inside, they rot. Because deep down, every soul knows You can't become unstoppable while identifying as someone powerless. Victimhood is a mask for fear. It's easier to say, "I can't," than to risk failure. It's easier to say, "They hurt me," than to admit, "I never healed." It's easier to say, "Life's unfair," than to admit, "I've been avoiding my own potential." Victimhood is not just weakness. It is fear, dressed as entitlement. The truth? You're not afraid of the pain. You're afraid of what would happen if you no longer had that pain as an excuse. Because then you'd have no one left to blame, no crutch left to lean on, no mask left to hide behind. Only the truth, that you've always been capable. And now, you're out of excuses. The warrior identity is not claimed. It's chosen. Becoming a warrior isn't a moment of inspiration. It's a ritual of death and rebirth. The old version of you, the one that hesitates, explains, complains, shrinks, plays small, must die. Not once. Daily. This is spiritual warfare. Every day you wake up, you make a choice. Am I going to resurrect the victim or rebirth the warrior? Because they can't coexist. You cannot wear both armors. One protects your comfort. The other prepares you for conquest. Choose what the warrior identity looks like. The warrior doesn't whine. They observe. They don't blame. They adjust. They don't dwell. They decide. They don't react. They respond. They don't hope. They become hope. The warrior understands. Everything that hurt me, everything that betrayed me, everything that broke me, it didn't happen to define me. It happened to refine me. The funeral ritual. You need to bury your old identity. And no, this isn't a metaphor. This is a real ritual you need to perform. Take a pen and paper. Write a letter as if you're speaking to the version of yourself you're leaving behind. Be brutal. Be raw. Be honest. Tell them what they cost you, how long you carried them, what you're choosing now instead. End the letter with a declaration. You are no longer in control. I release you. I bury you. From this day forward, I rise. Burn it. Bury it. Destroy it. But never resurrect it. Because now, you are someone else. The rebirth declaration. Once the old identity is dead, something must take its place, or the void will pull you back into old patterns. Create a declaration, a code, a creed, something that aligns with who you are becoming. Examples: I am unshakable in chaos. I extract wisdom from every wound. I fear no discomfort. I seek it. I am no longer available for weakness, excuses, or delay. Repeat this code aloud daily, with presence, with pain, with precision, until your bones believe it, until your energy speaks it before your mouth does, until people feel your presence and say, "That's not the same man, that's not the same woman," because they're right. You buried that version long ago. Warriors are forged through self-execution. Make no mistake, you are not becoming stronger because of external achievement. You're becoming stronger because you are executing the weaker self inside you, over and over again. That voice that says, "It's not fair. I'll do it tomorrow. What if I fail? They didn't believe in me. I don't feel like it." Kill it. Not once. Every day. With every rep. With every action. With every word unspoken that used to be laced in self-pity. Your silence is now sacred. Your movement is now sacred. Your life is now built on the bones of who you used to be. Final reminder for step 4. You cannot walk into your future while dragging your past. You cannot carry a sword while hugging your trauma. You cannot lead your life while still explaining your limitations. Let it go. Not for closure, for conquest. Because the world doesn't need another person with potential. It needs one more warrior who burned the old self to the ground and walked away from the ashes without looking back. You are that warrior now. Step 5. Embody the flame. Become the weapon that walks silently. You've faced the pain. You've transmuted it. You've built rituals. You've buried the victim. Now comes the final evolution. Embodiment. Not talking, not hoping, not imagining, becoming. This step is where you stop trying to be powerful and simply are. It's the moment when your power is no longer something you chase. It's something you carry. You no longer need to explain yourself. You don't need to post about the grind. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. Because now, you are the flame. What is embodiment? Embodiment is not the act of becoming. It is the act of being. No internal debate. No doubt. No audience needed. It's when the identity you forged through fire, the one you trained, tested, and proved, becomes your default state. Your silence becomes heavier than most people's speeches. Your presence becomes more commanding than the words of kings. Your energy speaks before you do. Because every step you take is backed by war. You've earned your walk. You've bled for it. And now the world must feel it, whether they understand it or not. The silent weapon. The strongest warriors are not loud. They don't broadcast their process. They don't explain their pain. They don't need validation or applause. Why? Because when you truly embody power, you become the weapon. Not the blade you hold. Not the armor you wear. You. You are the edge that cuts. You are the force that moves silently through chaos. You are the presence that unsettles the room, even when you say nothing. The weaponized soul does not posture. It does not beg. It does not doubt. It simply moves, with clarity, with control, with cold fire behind the eyes. Stillness is strength. When you reach this level, you stop needing motion to feel powerful. Stillness becomes your power source. You can sit in a room full of noise and remain unmoved. You can stand in front of chaos and remain composed. You can be insulted, underestimated, or betrayed, and respond with silence that terrifies the weak. Because your strength isn't reactionary, it's internal, rooted, unshakable. You've burned off every dependency. You've severed ties to external validation. You've detached from needing to be understood. Now, your power comes from alignment, not emotion. Become a living reminder. You are no longer just a person. You are a reminder. A reminder of what happens when someone refuses to quit. A reminder of what discipline looks like in human form. A reminder of what transformation costs and what it creates. You don't have to tell your story. They'll see it in your eyes. They'll feel it in your posture. They'll sense it in your energy. This is what embodiment means. You become a living weapon, not built for war with others, but for mastery of self. The 4 traits of the embodied warrior. 1. Composure under pressure. You no longer fold. You no longer escalate. You observe. You calculate. You decide. You are not impulsive. You are surgical. Your power is not just in what you do, but in what you choose not to do. 2. Presence, without performance. You enter a room and people take notice. Not because you're loud, but because your stillness radiates something primal. You don't announce. You arrive, and arrival is enough. 3. Unbreakable rhythm. You live by a personal code. You do the hard things without question. There are no off days, No waiting for motivation. You move with a rhythm of war, and that rhythm makes your life unstoppable. 4. Grace. Under chaos. The world burns. People panic. Systems collapse. You breathe. You think. You adapt. Because you are no longer reactive. You are forged. Action steps for embodiment. 1. Choose one identity statement. This isn't affirmation fluff. It is a command to your nervous system. Examples. I am the presence that cannot be ignored. I walk with fire and leave silence behind me. I am the weapon, and my life is the battleground. Repeat it morning and night until it becomes bone deep. 2. Develop a presence practice. Each day, sit in silence for 15 minutes. No input, no distraction, just presence. Observe yourself. Observe your energy. Practice walking slowly, breathing deeply, moving deliberately. This teaches your body to embody stillness with strength. 3. Live unavailable to weakness. Make a list of actions, people, and habits you are no longer available for. Then enforce it. If it drains your energy, distracts your focus, or disrupts your fire, it's cut off. No explanations, no guilt, no apologies. You are no longer available for softness, only alignment. The embodied warrior leaves. No doubt. When you enter a room, people should feel like something ancient just walked in. Not flashy, not loud, just unspoken gravity. You've been through fire. You've cut off every excuse. You've trained your rituals. You've silenced the inner victim. Now, you walk in power. You embody the flame. And the world has no choice but to adjust to your frequency. Final reminder. For step 5. Power isn't just what you do. It's who you are when nothing needs to be said. It's in your eyes. It's in your breath. It's in your posture when the world throws chaos at you. And you don't blink. You are no longer someone becoming. You are someone being. You are the weapon, the walking fire, the silent proof that pain creates gods when wielded with discipline. There's nothing left to prove, only everything left to execute. To the returning GrimFace warriors, you already know what this is. You've lived the fire. You've walked through the darkness, and you carry this message like a blade in your spine, unseen by the world, but felt by everyone in your presence. Your discipline, your resilience, your silent battles, they don't go unnoticed here. You are the reason this movement breathes. To those of you who are new, this isn't just another motivational channel. This is a forge, a sanctuary for those who've been through hell and refuse to die in it. A battleground for those who want more than empty words. They want transformation through fire. Here we don't glorify comfort. We don't chase clout. We rise through pain. We train in silence. We build ourselves into something the world is no longer prepared to handle. So if something inside you stirred today, if you felt the voice in the back of your mind say, This is what I've been waiting for, then welcome home. Subscribe to the GrimFace channel. Join the movement. Sharpen yourself daily and carry this fire forward, because we are not here to be understood. We are here to become undeniable. Until next time, stand tall, move with precision, and remember, we do not kneel. We rise. GrimFace. Forever forward. They said you were strange, too quiet, loud, too intense, too off, too much. But they never asked the right question. They never asked why. Why does your voice make the room uneasy? Why does your silence feel like a threat? Why does your presence feel like static in the air? Because deep down, they knew. And deep down, you knew too. You always felt it. The lie, the itch behind the curtain, the hum beneath the noise, the scream in a world too polite to scream back. They call it disorder. They call it defiance. They call it broken. But let's call it what it really is. Clarity. Because you never belonged to their machine. You were the virus, injected into the system like lightning through a rusted circuit. You didn't glitch. You made the code blink first. They built a world out of fake smiles and dead routines. You saw the strings. You heard the gears turning behind their plastic paradise. And you said, no. You said no to the script. No to the soul-sucking 9-to-5 grind. No to the quiet desperation they dress up as stability. No to their leash disguised as success. And every time you refused to kneel, every time you spoke your truth, raw and unfiltered, every time you stood when they told you to sit, they called you unstable. But the only thing unstable is their illusion. And you were never part of the algorithm. You were the storm they hoped would never come. Let me ask you something. Why do you wake up tired even after sleeping? Why do you feel hollow after grinding through your days? Why do the weekends vanish faster than dreams, leaving you starving for more the moment Monday hits? It's not your failure. It's not your weakness. It's not bad luck. It's the design. They programmed you to chase smoke, to live for crumbs, to trade your fire for comfort, your truth for silence, your soul for subscriptions and self-help quotes. They didn't need chains. They just needed you exhausted. Exhausted enough to stop asking. Exhausted enough to stop feeling. Exhausted enough to sit still in a cage and call it peace. But here's the twist. If you can see the cage, you're already halfway out of it. You felt it. That voice inside, the one that says, "This can't be it." The one that screams while you scroll. The one that burns every time you put on the mask. That's not weakness. That's your soul remembering how to fight. And now you've got two choices. You can smother it, drown it in distraction, sedate it with likes, loops, and lies, or you can feed it, fan it, let it grow teeth, let it devour the script, let it burn the illusion down to ashes. Because once you see the strings, you don't dance anymore. You cut them. And when you do, they panic. They say you've changed, that you're too cold, too intense, too distant. But you haven't lost your spark. You stopped pretending. You stopped playing. You stopped apologizing for existing outside their expectations. You were never made to obey. You were never made to blend in. You weren't sent to smile on cue or decorate the prison walls with polite conversations. You are not another line of code. You are the corrupted file, the glitch in their design, the anomaly that makes the machine twitch. And they don't hate you because you're wrong. They hate you because you're real. And real is dangerous. Because real reminds them of what they gave up, of who they used to be, of what they buried in exchange for safety. You didn't choose the red pill or the blue pill. You spiked the whole bottle with fire and laughed while it burned. That's why they call you unstable, unpredictable, unwell. But let's be honest, you were never supposed to be well in a system designed to make you sick. You were never supposed to be calm in a world that profits off your stress. You were never supposed to be comfortable in a cage. Your intensity is not a defect. It's a feature. Your sensitivity is not a flaw. It's a weapon. Your rage is not dysfunction. It's the voice of everything they tried to bury inside you. They call you crazy? Good. Let them. Because the sane are asleep. Programmed. Predictable. Plastic. They function. They follow. They fade. But you refused. You didn't malfunction. You evolved. You started seeing colors in static, patterns in chaos, truth in the distortion. And it scared them. Because your madness mirrors the scream they've locked away. Your fire exposes the ash they pretend is peace. You are not broken. You are broadcasting. And your signal is dangerous. They want you soft, obedient, logged in, powered down. Because a soul on fire, a mind unchained, a heart still alive. That's unpredictable. And unpredictable can't be controlled. So they distract you, bury you in updates, feed you mediocrity dressed as meaning, offer you comfort just sharp enough to keep you from running. They say don't stand out. But what they mean is, don't wake up. Because once you do, once you see what they traded their freedom for, you'll never go back. So now you vanish. Not out of fear, but because ghosts can't be tracked. You disappear from their algorithms. You slip through their patterns. You stop reacting. You stop explaining. You become the move. And when they finally look around, you're not there. No post, no proof, no presence. Just an absence that echoes louder than any noise. That's the new power. Silence like a loaded weapon. Stillness like a countdown. They expected screams. You gave them shadows. They expected rebellion. You gave them nothing. And in that nothing, they feel the shift. They start to sweat. Because they can't debug what they can't define. They can't fight what they can't see. You are not here to be accepted. You are here to infect, to corrode, to collapse their illusions with every breath you refuse to censor. You don't ask permission. You don't wait for approval. You move. You vanish. You reappear, with lightning in your veins and a grin made of fire. You become the reckoning, the storm they whispered about, the force they hoped would never wake up. And guess what? You just did. They'll say you're mad. Say it with pity, with fear, with smugness. But madness? Madness is just freedom that's too wild for their walls. And you were never made for walls. You were born to spiral, to shatter, to blaze through every cage and laugh as it collapses behind you. You are the howl in the night, the glitch in the matrix, the breath of fire in a world that forgot how to burn. You are the storm, the silence, the threat, the truth, the phantom. Not because you asked for it, but because you are it. And now, you're awake. So finish what you came here to start. Law 1. Reject the script. Write your own. The Matrix only works if you forget you're in one. You weren't born free. You were born into a lie, wrapped in a smile, sealed with expectations, passed down from those too afraid to question the code. By the time you could speak, the system had already written your lines for you. Go to school, get good grades, be polite, fit in, graduate, go into debt for a degree, get a job, climb the ladder, buy things, stay busy, be grateful, die quietly. That's the script. You weren't supposed to question it. You were supposed to perform it. With precision, with pride. But here's the truth. The script was never written for your freedom. It was written for your compliance. It doesn't want you dangerous. It wants you predictable. It doesn't want you self-aware. It wants you efficient, just productive enough to contribute, just numb enough not to resist. The first glitch: awareness. Rejecting the script begins with awareness. It starts with the itch in your brain when you're staring at a spreadsheet, the sick feeling in your gut when the alarm clock yanks you out of bed into a life you didn't choose, the rage that simmers when you're told this is just how it is. You don't need more motivational quotes or coffee or fake gratitude. You need truth. That discomfort you feel, it's your soul revolting against a lie. And if you've ever caught yourself whispering, "There's got to be more than this," that was your first act of rebellion. Step 2: destruction before creation. To write your own code, you must first destroy the one they gave you. This means unlearning. This means burning the rulebook they gave you. Even if your family wrote it, your friends live by it, or your teacher swore by it. They told you success was climbing a ladder. They never told you the ladder was leaning against the wrong wall. They told you happiness was a white picket fence and a 401k. They never told you it was a coffin lined with comfort and slow decay. Rejecting the script is not rebellion for the sake of rebellion. It's surgery, a necessary amputation of inherited lies to save the living truth buried underneath. You must be willing to be the black sheep, the outsider, the one they whisper about. Because to become the glitch, you must become unrecognizable to the system. Step 3: build without permission. The moment you reject their script, the world gets quiet. People stop clapping. You lose applause. You lose comfort. You lose certainty. But what you gain is freedom. Because now, for the first time, your life becomes yours. Now, you decide what success looks like. Now, you choose how you spend your time. Now, you define your values, your voice, your vision. This is when the new script begins. But here's the secret. It can't be copied. It can't be bought. It must be written in blood. Your blood. You must pay for it in discomfort, in loneliness, in rejection, in late nights, in inner battles where your old self begs you to turn back. But you don't. You keep writing. Because this time you're not just surviving, you're becoming. Tactical application. How to start writing your own script. Audit the roles you're playing. What titles are you clinging to just to please others? What routines feel hollow but normal? Ask, is this truly mine? Or did I inherit it? Burn the false identity. Write a list of beliefs you were taught growing up. Cross out everything that makes you feel smaller, not stronger. Replace them with truths that serve your soul, not society. Define success on your terms. Write your own definition of success, not theirs, yours. And don't hold back. Let it be big, raw, bold, and untamed. Move quietly, build loudly, start creating, even if it's just 1 hour a day. Build skills, income, identity, without asking permission. Don't post it. Don't explain it. Just do it. Expect resistance. Embrace it. You will be doubted, laughed at, and misunderstood. Good. That means you're on the right track. Use their doubt as fuel. Use their rules as firewood. Final reminder, they will say you've changed. They'll say you've lost yourself. But you didn't lose anything. You shed what wasn't you. You didn't break. You woke up. And now that you're awake, you don't follow the path. You forge it. In silence. In fire. In blood. In truth. Reject the script. Write your own. And let every step you take be a line they'll never be able to decode. Law 2. Use your pain as a portal. Pain isn't the punishment. It's the portal, the fire, the forge, The proof you're still alive in a world that's already asleep. They told you pain was weakness. They taught you to hide it, to numb it, to smile through it, to cover the bleeding with filters, pharmaceuticals, and fake positivity. They told you if you hurt, something was wrong with you. No, something is wrong with the world. You weren't born broken. You were born into a system designed to break you. And the more awake you become, the more you feel the weight of that truth, the more it burns. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the key. Pain is not your punishment. It's your invitation. It's the initiation ritual into your true self. Think about it. Every transformation you've ever had, every awakening, every breakthrough, every shift came from pain. The heartbreak that showed you who you really were. The betrayal that revealed who never deserved you. The loneliness that forced you to meet yourself. The silence that made you scream your truth for the first time. They want you to medicate that, suppress that, forget that. But those moments, they were portals. Portals to power. Portals to clarity. Portals to you. Pain is proof. You're still human. In the Matrix, they measure success by how little you feel. The goal is sedation, comfort, predictability. They want you numb. Because numb people don't rebel. Numb people don't question. Numb people don't create. But you feel too much. You ache too loud. You cry. Not because you're fragile, but because your soul refuses to go silent. And in a world of the emotionally dead, that makes you a threat. That sadness you carry, that rage in your chest, that hollowness that won't go away. It's not weakness. It's signal. Signal that you're still awake. While they numb, you burn. And burning things can't be caged. Your scars are your symbols. They'll call you damaged. Too much. Too emotional. Too intense. But that's just fear. Their fear that your scars tell a story they've tried to bury. They try to sell you on the perfect life. Polished, smiling, smooth. But smooth skin has never seen battle. It's the scarred ones who've walked through fire and lived to tell the truth. Your scars are your symbols, your map, your resume of survival, your credentials of authenticity. Don't hide them. Don't explain them. Don't apologize for them. Wear them like armor. Speak through them like scripture. Lead with them like a sword. Pain is the portal to unfiltered power. Think of the system like a cage built on repetition. Predictable days. Muted emotions. Constant distractions. That pain you feel when you sit still, when you stop scrolling, when the silence creeps in. That's not just discomfort. That's your soul remembering it was never meant to live like this. Most people feel that pain and run. Into distraction. Into substances. Into conformity. But you, if you're going to become the glitch, must do what they fear. Walk straight into it. You sit with the pain. You let it speak. You let it burn away the programming. And in that fire, something new emerges. Not a better version of you. Not a happier version. A realer version. Untamed. Unapologetic. Unfiltered. That version can't be controlled. Because they didn't give it to you. You built it. In the ashes. Tactical application. Turning pain into power. Feel it fully. Stop suppressing your emotions. Sit with them. Breathe through them. Let them teach you. Journal without filters. Speak without performance. Mind the lesson. Pain is not random. It's a compass. Ask, what is this pain pointing me toward? What is it trying to tell me? Behind every wound is a truth you've been ignoring. Transmute it into art or action. Turn heartbreak into creation. Turn betrayal into fuel. Turn rock bottom into your message, your mission, your movement. Stop apologizing for feeling. Emotional intensity is not dysfunction. It's data. It's clarity. Own it. Use it. Let it give you the edge. Use pain to set boundaries. Pain teaches you what you're no longer available for. Use it to cut off the old self, the fake friends, the cages. Let pain make you selective, precise, and powerful. Final reminder: pain doesn't mean something is wrong. Pain means something is awakening. And if you feel like the pain is too loud, if you feel like the ache might rip you apart, if you feel like you're too sensitive for this world, good. That means the mask is cracking. That means the illusion is dying. That means you're coming online. Let them numb. Let them run. Let them sleep. But you walk through the pain. You open the portal. You emerge unrecognizable. Because the glitch isn't born through comfort. The glitch is forged through suffering that didn't kill you, only sharpened you. Use your pain, make it your portal, and walk through it like the fireproof soul you were born to become. Law 3. Silence is strategy, not surrender. The loud burnout, the strategic disappear. The glitch doesn't announce, the glitch moves. They taught you to shout to be seen, to explain yourself, to justify your rebellion, to scream louder than the noise around you. But that was part of the trap. Because while you're busy proving your worth, explaining your choices, defending your existence, they're collecting data. They're mapping your patterns, tracking your emotions, feeding off your reactions. The system doesn't care what you say. It only cares that you're predictable, that you're loud, that you're readable, that you're trackable. But silence makes you dangerous. The power of ghosting the grid. To become a glitch, you must understand this. The most lethal move is the one they never see coming. Everyone's playing their game in public, posting, performing, proving. They build their ego in the algorithm's reflection. But you slip through the seams. You ghost the grid. You vanish from the pattern. You build in the dark. And in that darkness, you become invisible. Not because you're weak, but because you've become unreachable. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. Not everyone should hear your plans. Not everyone is qualified to witness your evolution. Sometimes your silence isn't avoidance. It's war preparation. Noise is their game. Stillness is yours. Look around. The loudest ones are often the most lost. They scream because they're still trying to convince themselves. They brag because they're still afraid. But the glitch doesn't play that game. The glitch doesn't flex. The glitch doesn't beg for recognition. Because real power doesn't need a stage. You don't post. You build. You don't argue. You move. You don't threaten. You dominate. In silence. Stillness is the coil before the strike. The system expects rebellion to look loud, angry, explosive, obvious. But that's easy to control. They can cage chaos. They can sedate rage. They can drown noise in more noise. But they can't track stillness. They can't decode silence. You become a ghost in their machine, a myth in the wires, the kind of quiet that makes the room cold, the kind of quiet that makes people sweat, because silence leaves them wondering, and wondering is the system's greatest weakness. Tactical application. Strategic silence in real life. Stop explaining yourself. Your truth doesn't require an audience. The more you explain, the more they try to redefine you. Let them guess. Let them assume. You just build. Move in stealth mode. Build your projects. Stack your cash. Sharpen your skills. Say less. Do more. Let your results speak. Power built in silence is power that cannot be predicted. Choose detachment over drama. Don't react to every insult, doubt, or misunderstanding. Learn the art of the strategic vanish. Leave the conversation. Exit the room. Walk away. You're not here to convince. You're here to command. Be unavailable by design. Your presence is power. Treat it like currency. Not everyone gets access. Not every notification deserves your time. Prioritize your mission, not their noise. Let your absence echo. Don't always respond. Don't always attend. Don't always speak. Become the phantom they remember. Because silence, when used with precision, is louder than any scream. Silence is where power grows. Silence is not surrender. It's strategy. It's calculation. It's control. You're not ghosting them because you're scared. You're ghosting them because you're outgrowing them. While they try to impress the world, you're building a world of your own. While they flex for attention, you're sharpening your focus. While they follow trends, you're designing timeless moves. They won't see it coming. Because the glitch doesn't show up in notifications. The glitch shows up unannounced. Final reminder, let them bark. Let them post. Let them try to go viral. You vanish. You move in silence. You operate in darkness. And when you return, you don't return as an update. You return as a reckoning. You don't flex. You don't announce. You are the move. The system won't see you coming because you stopped playing their game. Silence isn't the absence of power. It's power without permission, without noise, without apology. Move like a ghost. Strike like thunder. Leave echoes they'll never decode. Law 4. Embrace the power of not fitting in. You didn't come here to blend in. You came here to break patterns. Your difference isn't a defect. It's a disruption. It's your power. From day one, they tried to stuff you into a mold. Be polite. Be normal. Be manageable. They measured your worth by how well you could play their game, how quietly you could comply, how small you could shrink. And every time you stepped outside the line, they pulled you back in, with shame, with guilt, with silence. But you always felt it, didn't you? That tension in your chest when you had to pretend. That suffocation in rooms where your truth couldn't breathe. That ache of being too much for a world built on just enough. They told you to sit down when your spirit wanted to stand and scream. But here's the truth. You were never meant to fit in. You were built to stand out, to rupture the pattern, not repeat it. Your difference is your decoding key. Think about it. Every innovator, every rebel, every legend, they were weird. They didn't fit. They were mocked. They were misunderstood. They were alone until the world caught up. Because the ones who don't fit are the ones who redefine the shape. Your difference is not an obstacle. It's the access point. The decoding key to a system that has enslaved millions through conformity. You weren't rejected because you were wrong. You were rejected because you reminded them of everything they gave up on. You made them uncomfortable. You made them question. And people don't like mirrors that reflect their cowardice. But that's exactly what you are. A mirror. A reminder. A force of nature in a society addicted to sedation. Fitting in is the first step toward extinction. Every time you tone yourself down to make others comfortable, you amputate a part of your identity. Every time you stay silent when your truth is screaming, You bury your power deeper beneath the noise. And every time you trade authenticity for acceptance, you sign a silent agreement. I agree to live as a ghost in my own skin. But ghosts don't build empires. Ghosts don't shift culture. Ghosts don't burn the matrix down. You weren't made to decorate the system. You were made to disrupt it. So stop apologizing for your edge, your fire, your oddness, your frequency. That discomfort they feel when you walk into a room, that's their illusion cracking. Tactical application, turning difference into dominance. Identify what makes you unrelatable, then amplify it. What parts of you have been labeled too much, too weird, or not normal? Those are your weapons. Lean into them. Turn up the volume. Make them your identity. Stop translating yourself for people who'll never understand you. You don't need to simplify your depth. You don't need to soften your edges. The right ones won't need subtitles for your soul. Reject the myth of the well-rounded human. You weren't made to be balanced. You were made to be brilliantly lopsided, a savage genius in your own domain. Specialize in your madness. Obsess over your uniqueness. Make it lethal. Use isolation as incubation. The ones who don't fit often walk alone. Good. Use the silence to build clarity. Use the solitude to create. Loneliness isn't a punishment. It's the womb of reinvention. Stop explaining. Start creating. Don't waste your energy convincing others you belong. Use that energy to build something so undeniable they can't ignore you. Your difference becomes your dominance when it's paired with execution. The glitch doesn't fit because it was never designed to. You don't need more friends. You don't need more followers. You need alignment. And alignment doesn't come from approval. It comes from ownership. Owning your madness. Owning your creativity. Owning your ability to see what others can't. And do what others won't. Stop trying to be digestible. You weren't meant to be consumed. You were meant to be felt. A frequency too sharp for the faint-hearted. A signal too rare for the sedated. A presence too disruptive for the programmable. Final reminder. They'll say you're arrogant. They'll say you're crazy. They'll say you're difficult. Let them. That's the language of fear speaking. Because every time you choose your truth over their comfort, every time you walk your own path instead of theirs, every time you refuse to shrink, you shatter another piece of their illusion. And that illusion is what keeps the matrix alive. You were not made to fit. You were made to fracture. So fracture, shatter, disrupt, redesign. Be the weird one. Be the too much one. Be the one they whisper about when the lights go out. Because while they dream in straight lines, you were born to spiral upward. Law 5. Build a reality they can't touch. The greatest revenge isn't destruction. It's construction. Build a life so bold, so untouchable, so true, that the system can't corrupt it, decode it, or deny it. You've rejected the script. You've weaponized your pain. You've vanished from the noise. You've embraced your difference. Now what? Now you build. Because a glitch isn't just a disruption. A glitch is a rewriter of code. The ultimate rebellion isn't screaming at the machine. It's walking away from it and creating something it can't reach. Let them scroll. Let them sedate. Let them compete for fake trophies and algorithmic applause. You construct your own world. You own your time. You own your energy. You own your name, your schedule, your output, your identity. Because power isn't found in shouting. Power is found in structure. Power is found in creation. Escape by construction, not collapse. Most people think freedom is blowing everything up. But destruction without construction is just another form of slavery. The glitch doesn't run from the system screaming. The glitch outgrows it. The glitch builds a life so meaningful, so self-defined, so deliberate, that the matrix becomes irrelevant. No more explaining. No more proving. No more begging for table scraps from a system designed to keep you starving. You're not here to survive it. You're here to make it obsolete. Build what can't be bought. There are two worlds. The visible one, curated, branded, public, fake. The real one, built brick by brick in silence, invisible to the sedated masses. Most people invest in the visible world. They flex, they impress, they perform, but it's hollow. You build what the system can't buy. Self-respect, peace, time, wealth that isn't dependent on one paycheck, one platform, or one approval. Your reality becomes your fortress. Your inner world becomes your command center. And when the grid fails, when the system cracks, you won't panic. You'll already be free. Tactical application. How to build an untouchable reality. Design your life like a fortress, not a fantasy. Stop chasing aesthetic freedom and start designing real freedom. Ask yourself, can they shut this off? Can they take this from me? Can they cancel this? If the answer is yes, rebuild it stronger. Develop multiple income streams outside the system. Money equals mobility. Build skills that let you earn without begging. Create assets, not just income. Own what you create. License what you know. Monetize your truth. Create time autonomy. Don't just escape the 9-to-5. Escape the need to trade your soul for schedules. Buy your time back through discipline, minimalism, leverage, and entrepreneurship. Turn your identity into intellectual property. You are not a resume. You are not a role. You are a brand. Package your story, your lessons, your scars, your voice. Build something that lives even when you're offline. Fortify your inner world. Daily. Read, reflect, meditate, journal. Sharpen your thinking. Solidify your values. Discipline your desires. Make your mind a place the world cannot invade. The goal is not escape. It's sovereignty. Everyone's trying to escape. But the glitch doesn't escape by running. The glitch escapes by building a new gravitational field. You don't just get free. You create freedom for others by example. You become the proof that another path is real. They say, be realistic. You say, I am, just not by your definition. You stop reacting to culture. You become culture. You stop responding to trends. You define them. You stop asking for permission. You become the authority over your own life. Final reminder. The world doesn't reward rage. It rewards results. You don't fight the system by complaining. You fight the system by becoming so good, so self-owned, so immovable that it can't touch you. You own your income. You own your decisions. You own your truth. You own your silence. You own your name. And when you own those things, you don't just survive the matrix. You outbuild it. You outlast it. You outcreate it. So stop waiting to be saved. Start building what they told you wasn't possible. Be the glitch that doesn't just crash the system. Be the glitch that replaces it. One brick at a time. One boundary at a time. One bold move at a time. To the returning GrimFace warriors, we see you. Scarred, sharpened, silent, still walking through the fire without flinching. Every step you take, every illusion you tear down, every truth you refuse to swallow, you're building more than just a life. You're building a legacy of resistance, of sovereignty, of truth. You are the glitch, the whisper that rattles the machine, the storm they hoped would never return. And if this was your first time hearing the call, welcome. This isn't motivation. This is your wake-up call. This is your invitation to unplug, to unlearn, and to rise. Subscribe to the GrimFace movement now. Not for likes, not for hype, but because the war is real, and it's happening inside you every day. Discipline, sovereignty, fire. We are the ones who don't kneel. We don't conform. We build. And if that sounds like you, then stop waiting and join us.